If you want to grow any business, you need to know your numbers, and it's the exact same thing if you run an Amazon FBA business. And a lot of you guys, especially in the arbitrage space, do not know your numbers. In today's video, we are going to change that. And I'm going to change that. I'm going to show you my exact process because I've been starting to implement a new process right now to look at my numbers. I use what is called a scorecard. It is something that I did not invent that. By the way, it's not coming from me. It's coming from a book that I read this weekend that is called Traction. Okay, and so yeah, just so you know, I did not invent it. And this is something that I'm going to start implementing in my business starting, this week. So the first week that we implement it. And so as I start to refine the process, I'm going to share it with you guys, but it is just a way for me to every single week look at my number and get, as the author of the book say, I forgot his name, by the way, forgive me, is to get a pulse of the business so I can know how healthy my business is. And especially since I'm trying to delegate more and more stuff to eventually delegate everything into my inside my Amazon business, I need to have a way to track my numbers and see how the numbers are trending, right? So this is what I'm going to show you in today's video. We are going to look at my scorecard and more importantly, what numbers I'm tracking as of right now in my business. And as these things change throughout the day, throughout the week especially, we are going to I'm going to show you how I'm going to change these numbers and all that stuff in future video. All right, so if you do not know me, my name is Mangunza. I release daily videos about selling on Amazon right here on YouTube 100% for free. The content that you see in these videos is way more in depth than most of the paid course that you can see online. It's just that it's a lot of content. It's way more in depth, right? You cannot even pay to get what I give for free right on this YouTube channel. So if it brings you value, make sure to subscribe and to like this video so you get recommended more videos, right? This is what you want. You have everything that you need to grow a 7-figure business. If you need more help, I offer coaching, link in the description. All right, so let's get into the computer, and this is what my scorecard looks like. And I'm going to show you what numbers and why I choose to track these numbers. The first, before we actually get into the numbers, so you'll see I will look at these things on a weekly basis. I actually started today, June 3rd, right? But I will look, by the way, if you want to get that spreadsheet, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. If you want to get that spreadsheet, there's a link in the description. I'll send it to your email. Just enter your email, you'll get it. All right. So the goal is to look at numbers that are that show how your business is doing on a weekly basis. Okay, that shows activity, and this is one of the biggest things that you need to look at every single week. And for every single quarter, you want to see a 3-month view at all time of this stuff, right? Because you want to set your goal in terms of quarters. Okay, so right there I added fourth month because this is going to be Q3. This is Q2, the end of Q2. The end of Q2 ends in June, right? But I added it right now because I just started to use this method. So I'm going to show you the numbers that I'm going to track. I'm going to explain because you can see them already, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay, let's make it 200%. These are the numbers that I track. You can tweak it, by the way, and if you want to, if you get the link, just go on File and click on Make a Copy, and it will save a copy on your Google Drive, right? But I'm going to tell you exactly why these are the numbers that I track and why you should actually track these numbers in your business. So, of course, the first one that you should track is the weekly revenue. Okay, you want to know how much you've been selling. If you do not know that, it's the first thing that you should track, all right? The second thing, and this is maybe something that people do not do, is the average daily balance on your, and I called it cash balance, but it's the every daily balance on your Amazon, that your Amazon has, okay? If you have multiple accounts, whatever, it's a thing that I want to keep track of, okay? And if you use multiple accounts, so if you do use the profit first method, you want to look how much you have in your profit account or into your inventory account. I guess the one that would actually make the most sense here would be the inventory account, but right now I'm putting all my accounts right there, and this is where I'm going to track all the cash I have available for this business inside the business, right? Next thing is the payout, because I want to see how my payout evolves through the week, right? How much money I had paid out to me through the week, to see if Amazon keeps more of the reserve, to try to understand those things, because this is not something that I actually track. I used to track this when I was doing retail arbitrage, I do not track this anymore. So this is one thing that I want to look at, just to see how it is trending, if I'm getting more money, if I'm getting less money, how the payout compared to the cash balance, if my cash balance increase, if my cash balance decrease, and how it relates to inventory purchase. Okay, because if my cash flow cycles are not that good, maybe I need to use more credit cards, maybe I need to allocate my money in between credit cards differently, because let's say that my payouts stay the same, but my inventory purchase is not really the same. It goes down, then it goes up, it goes down. I want to be able to diagnose why, and this is why I think the payout is a good thing to have, because it can give you some context regarding the inventory purchase, right? And because of course sometimes you can use credit cards to ease your cash flow. It is one of the big things that I want to keep track of because of this. All right, gross profit margins. All right, I want to know what are my profit margins on my sales, not and the gross profit margins, because I want to know my profit margin. I mean, I do not necessarily want to know them. I don't care about it, but I think it was because the thing that I really want to look at is the average return on investment, and I'm going to tell you why. I just want to see the gross profit margins, because I want to know how much of that is actually profit, right? Or what percentage, just to be able to benchmark, to see what my gross profit margins are. Of course, everything that is software, all that stuff is not accounted into that, because it's not interesting for me. I mean, yes, it is. At the end of the day, when I look at my P&L, I want to know how much profit I made in total, right? But right there, I want to see it this way, because of course, like, I charge, all my softwares are pretty much charged on the first of the month on my credit cards. So if I look, for example, if I look at it right there for this week, like, I have like $300 for my software stack that is charged on my accounting software. So like my gross margins, if I look at my net gross margins, my net profit margins, it would not make sense, because my net profit margins would be a little bit lower. It's not an exact number, and I'd rather have the gross profit margins. No, the profit margins, in my opinion, is not something that really matters, okay, when you run your FBA business. What really matters is your return on investment. It's how much money you get on top of what you already, like, what type of money you actually get back into your pocket as profit, on top of the money that you invest in inventory, right? I think this is the most important KPI that you need to actually look at in your Amazon FBA business. You want to be above 30%. Right now, I actually checked for the last week. For last week, we're at around 40%, which is super good. I'm actually super happy with that number. Because as we grow, understand that the more money you. By the way, when I was doing retail arbitrage, my average return on investment was at 78%. Right now, I'm at 40% average return on investment, which is still good. A lot of people are more like close to 30%, 25%. So 40% is actually good, and I want to see how it trends throughout the week, right? If it gets higher, if it gets lower. And I'm also pretty curious of how much is going to change during Q4. But we'll see that. And I'll keep you guys updated once I have a lot of info, and I have an easy way to actually go back to them just like this. Because, by the way, it's not about, because these information, I actually can get them super easily, right? I can actually see what was my average return on investment last year during Q4, or it was when I started working with Web Center. But doing this and having this on a spreadsheet that I can actually go back, because these are the most important numbers that you need to know when you run this business, right? I can easily go back and see what the number was for a specific date, right? So it makes it way easier. If I want to get this number, I need to go to Seller Board, choose a specific date period, look at my average return on investment over there, and it's weirder to look at, right? It's easier to look at this way. The next thing that I want to see is my cost of goods sold. Okay, so I sent inventory. I want to see how much money what was my cost of goods sold on this inventory. Because if my inventory purchase is lower than my cost of goods sold, my business is actually declining, right? And most of these things, you're not going to look at them in a vacuum. You're going to look at all those numbers all together, right? So it's really important for me to know, because I purchase inventory. I want to see, like, if my business is actually growing or if my business is actually going down. And so this is an easy way to actually do it. Another one that a lot of guys are not tracking is the buy box win percentage. It's going to stay the same mostly, especially if you are super wide in inventory, but it will allow me to see if we are on track with our repricing strategy, right? Because if the buy box win percentage goes down, there's something that went wrong, and it's all about diagnosing what is going wrong and what can be improved in the business. If the buy box percentage is going down, either the inventory that I purchased, it was not that good, and so I'm sitting on an inventory, or I've not set up my repricer. It could be a lot of things, right? And so it can help me diagnose and look at what is wrong, because if the buy box win percentage is down, the weekly revenue will potentially be down as well, so it's one way to diagnose. If I see that the weekly revenue is down, to diagnose what is actually going on, right? Potential sales is the potential sales that my inventory, the inventory that I have in stock, it's pretty much my inventory level. You can call it inventory level. I called it potential sales because this is what it's called, I think, on seller board, right? So by having this, I can actually look at my inventory level and see if it's increasing and see if it's decreasing, okay? If I said it's decreasing, it's because I potentially did not purchase enough inventory, and it's because my cost of goods sold is higher than my inventory purchase. And so if it's too much, like if it's trending for too long, the business is going down. It's not good, right? Average day in inventory. If you've been looking at my videos for a long time, you already know what it is, and you know how important it is to me. I want to see week after week how much time an item spent in my inventory on average, right? If it takes me, I want to know how long it takes me pretty much to flip my inventory, and I want it to be, depending on my strategy, in between 45 to 60 days. And I was trying to get this a little bit lower than that. Probably now I want to get it around 30 to 45 days. It's been 1 year that I've been trying to get it as low as possible, and I've been increasing, but I've not been tracking it as often as I would like to. And so this way I'll be able to see it week after week and see if my sales velocity, if I'm purchasing the current amount of inventory based on my goals, right? It is super important. And the reason why also you want to do all this is because, as the author said in the book, what gets measured gets done, right? And if I do not measure every single week what my average day in inventory is, if my goal is to get it down, if I don't measure it, I have no idea, and I don't know if what I'm doing is actually working, right? So it does not make any sense. Another thing, since I'm trying to outsource sourcing more and more and more, especially for FBA, I want to see how many new leads we found every single week, because you need to find new leads constantly, and I want to track this number, and hopefully with time it is going to increase. Of course, there are some weeks that are going to be down, there are some weeks that are going to be better than others based on what's available online. But this is something that I want to track, and I want to see new leads every single week, and a number that actually makes sense. As I hire more people, I want this number to actually grow. All right. Then units shipped FBA, units listed FBM. I want to see how many units I shipped FBA, how many units I list FBM. So how many units I have getting in the business and how many units I have getting out, which is units sold. All right. So these are all the numbers that I am going to be tracking every single week, every single Monday. I'm going to look at these inside of my Amazon business, especially because, as I'm actually working on other projects and I'm delegating more stuff, if you are the only person, and I wish that I actually started doing this earlier, that I actually started doing this on my first day actually selling on Amazon, because it's actually easier to grow your business if you know all your numbers, right? And if you have an easy way to access them and if you look at them often. But as I grow and I take part in multiple other business, so such as my personal brand, all that stuff, I'm starting to spend way more time on this stuff, on the software as well, on a lot of other stuff. I need to be way more efficient with my time, and I will be way more efficient with my time if I actually track all the important stuff like this, and I can actually take better decision, because I will be more informed on how the business is going, right? Especially since you are delegating, the decision that you take impacts you way more than if you are doing them yourself, right? Because you're using leverage, and leverage can bring you up like crazy, but it can also bring you down like crazy, right? So these are the things that I'm tracking right now for my Amazon business, that I started tracking. I'll let you know as the week passes if things change. I'll make update videos. But yeah, hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, leave a like, do all that YouTube stuff. I'll see you tomorrow for a new video. Thank you for watching.